Hi there, and thanks for joining us for this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. We're wrapping up here our live-away in Cyprus. After a chilly start to our trip, the weather has turned magnificent. The sun is shining, the weather's warm. Our members are out basking in the sun and enjoying their last days here in the eastern part of the Mediterranean. And I'm sure more than a few are wishing they could extend now that the weather has turned a little bit for the better. I'm off next week to our next destination, our next live-aways destination, to Florence, Italy. On the way, I'm going to be stopping off in Cortona, where we're going to be going this coming October because we had to postpone our spring trip to Cortona until the fall, but I'm going to be going there, checking out some of the apartments and villas. We're going to be staying in this beautiful hilltop town before enjoying 2 weeks in Florence with a small group of our members to explore that beautiful city. And while we're talking about Italy, I was discussing with my team and some of the other members on our trip, as well as those of you back home in Canada. I've been talking about our live-away programs in general, and what we found is that there seems to be a lot of appeal for this kind of travel, where we go to a place together with a like-minded, a fun group of people. We have some organized excursions and activities, but we have a lot of free time to explore on our own. So it appeals to both the more intrepid travelers who like to do things and explore a little bit and not always be going around with a group, but at the same time, people who appreciate the company of others who love to explore different parts of the world. And in that vein, we're going to be researching some of the different parts of the world where we're going to be featuring our live-aways in the coming years. And of course, one of our most popular destinations and one of the most popular travel destinations in general is Italy. And that's part of the reason I'm off there again for our first live-away there, but also to look a little bit around to other parts of the country where we might go. And I thought it was an opportune time to get some feedback from you, our members, about live-aways, about specifically Italy. And if you were to go there or consider going there on an extended program like one of our live-aways for a couple of weeks or for several weeks, combining one place to another, where is it that you might go? And so in the blog, you'll find a poll that lists some of the regions of Italy that I think would make ideal live-away destinations. And so I'd really love to hear from you where you might consider going. So, for example, just running through some of the parts of Italy that I've got in my mind, starting from the north, of course, you have Alto Adige, South Tyrol, the German-speaking part of Italy that's up in the Alps. It's known for the spectacular scraggly peaks of the Dolomite Mountains, spa towns like Merano, the beautiful fruit valley of the Venosta, as well as some amazing hiking, biking, and as I mentioned, spas, a beautiful part of Italy. So that's one reason we're considering. The second one, also up in the north, of course, the Italian Lake District, Lake Como, Lago Maggiore. Again, you have these amazing lakes set in a backdrop of the Alps, as well as some fascinating towns to visit all along the shores. George Clooney, of course, has his home up there on Lake Como, and I know that having traveled there with a number of people before, they absolutely love this part of Italy. So we're thinking about a live-away up there. Also up in the north, we're thinking about the Veneto region. This is the area where Venice is the capital. But of course, Venice is a beautiful city, but also a bit of a tourist trap. And there are some beautiful other towns in that area, like Verona, like Padua, Vicenza, the city of architecture, some amazing places to visit, including Venice itself, where you could stay, in villa-type accommodation, explore the countryside, explore these wonderful towns that are so rich in history without being in a crowded place like Venice. So that's the third region that we're considering doing live-aways in the future. Then, of course, Tuscany, where we're already going, and everybody knows Tuscany, with Florence as the capital, the hilltop towns like San Gimignano and Cortona, where we're headed, Montepulciano, and so many others. The food and wine of Tuscany hardly needs any introduction. Looking further further south, I'm considering the region of Puglia. This is probably one of the lesser known tourist regions of Italy, and for good reason. It's a great place to consider doing a live-away, because not only do you have some wonderful towns, the whitewashed towns that you can visit along the coast. The coastal scenery there is some of the best in all of Italy. The food in the Puglia region is quite unique, and again, it's a lot quieter, less crowds. If you want a traditional Italian experience without again meeting foreign tourists on every corner, then Puglia is a great place to consider. We're also considering, of course, the region of Amalfi, Campania, which is south of Naples. Amalfi Coast is again an area that many of our members will already be familiar with. And there's so many little nooks and crannies to this part of the world. A lot of people go and just end up spending a day in Amalfi or in Sorrento and don't have the time to really explore and get into the back alleys, as it were, of this incredible region of Campania. So I think this would be another great place to do a live-away. And finally, Sicily. And I'll be headed to Sicily after Florence at the end of April. We're going to be introducing a live-away program there already for next year in March. The south coast of Sicily is beautiful at this time of the year. So again, similar to Malta or here in Cyprus, you typically have very, very nice weather. And of course, all of the amazing historical towns, the architecture, the volcanoes, Mount Etna. I'm hoping to get a look at that. So Sicily is another one of the places we're considering for one of our live-aways. So consider those. Maybe you've heard of some of these places, maybe you haven't, but do us a favor, let me know, drop us your opinion in the poll that you'll find inside the blog, and tell us, what region of Italy would you consider staying in on a live-away program? So finally, for this week's newsletter, I just wanted to give a big warm welcome and an introduction to our newest Wheel and Anchor team member, Mahalia Paul. I posted a picture for you here, so in case you see an email from Mahalia or get otherwise a phone call from her perhaps, you'll know who she is. I'm excited that our team is finally growing again after 2 years of COVID, and it's high time. And so for those of you who have been giving a call and have been having to wait a little bit for Paula to get back to you, we've been literally overwhelmed by requests for this year and next, and so I'm sure with Mahalia's addition to our team, that is going to lighten Paula's load and be able to give us the ability to get our service levels back up to the way that we like them to be. So again, welcome to Mahalia, and I hope that you'll welcome her as well if you get a chance to speak to her. Our next webinar on live-aways is going to be April the 14th. We're going to be introducing New Zealand, where we're heading in April of 2023. That's going to be following our Bali live-away program. So join us to find out about this special live-away, where we're going to be spending 2 weeks on the North Island and 2 weeks on the South Island. And following that, on the 21st of April, we're going to be launching our Croatia program for 2023. Of course, our 2 sailings this year in May and October are already completely sold out. And so I know many of you are anxious to consider coming along with us on our Slovenia, Croatia, and the Adriatic Coast program. So make sure you sign up for that webinar on the 21st of April. So thanks again. Take care. I look forward to catching up with you again next week.